Nice transition into the...
Welcome to the podcast. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Practical Kids Ministry, the podcast where we unpack the practicalities around what it looks like to serve in kids ministry. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are pumped with a part 2 of a topic that we're going to get to in just a moment. But my name is Buckle. I am the CEO and founder of Link Ministries Network. This is Noah, our general manager. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing a great, Buckle. I am so pumped for today. Hey, if this is your first time in kids and that's why you've jumped on this because you had no idea what you're doing, that is so awesome that you're here. If this is your 100,000 millionth time, like Buckle, being in kids, I'm so glad you're here as well because I'm certain that you're going to take something away as well because this is such a good topic.
I know, right? Plus, it's a fun place to be. On our kids set, we make kids curriculum for churches. We give it to churches for free because we don't want money to be a barrier between kids hearing the gospel and resourcing the local church. We can only do that because of people like you who support us, our monthly givers. So we'll talk about at the end how you can do that. But that plus everything else you need to know about us and the podcast and everything else is over at lmnetwork.com.au/podcast. You can find that link just below me there, down by Noah's knee, I think, somewhere down there. Or for the audio listeners, lmnetwork.com.au/podcast. But really quickly, before we get into the topic, just a little bit of a secret squirrel stuff for you. We're actually looking at hopefully maybe potentially developing an app so that we can give access to the content for the kids plus content for you for leaders. We're not announcing it today, but if it does end up going live at any point in the future, it will also be on that website. So keep your eye on that and our Instagram just so you know what's going on. But let's jump into today's topic. Now, Noah, what did we do last week? We did part 1 of a 2-part series. Unpack real quick. What was last week? And then we'll jump into this week.
Yeah, so last week highlighted being present in the room and therefore following on from that, looking out for the ones that you can only be there because you aren't the person that's on the stage. Maybe you're not running the room, but you have the time and the eyes to see the things that are unseen. And the way that we do that is being present in the room and consciously looking out for who could be there, who can I help, and just getting involved, getting amongst it and having fun with the kids.
Which is awesome. So last week was that idea of the gaps. Like, what do I do in the room around the gaps? But today we're actually looking at a thing called a run sheet. What do I do in all the different segments? But, maybe you don't know what a run sheet is. Essentially, the run sheet is just a piece of paper or a PDF file on your phone that says, here's what we're doing today. We're starting off with this, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then we're saying goodbye and signing them out. It tells you the structure. If you don't have one, actually hit us up, email admin@lmnetwork.com.au. We can provide you some cool ideas of how a run sheet could look if you want to know more. But what we're going to do is today, Noah, I want to actually talk through the different elements of what a kids service might look like because not every church is going to do it exactly the same. So we're not going to specify an order, but I want to unpack each element and what a new leader or a volunteer in the room or even someone who's experienced should be looking to do in all those moments.
Love it.
And I think we will do it in order of what we would do for a standard service. But once again, it doesn't mean this is the order in which you run it. So let's start from the beginning. Welcome. It's your sign in. It's the moment when a family gets out of their car for the first time or maybe the 100th time. They're walking up to sign in and then they're walking into the room. It's the welcome experience. If you are a brand new leader, let's say someone's only just started serving your kids or they've been doing it for a while, but they're still not sure. What should a leader be doing in this moment?
I think welcoming.
Welcome.
It sounds funny and it sounds
name.
so obvious, but it's actually it's so easy to get maybe caught up in what you have to do and prepare. Maybe you're preparing because it's first time, or maybe you've got something because you're running a small group. It's so easy to get caught up in what is to come. Whereas the welcome, that's where it all starts. That's where the first initial experience is. And it's also the point where the family splits between the kids going into kids and the parents going into the main auditorium. So it's important to have that have that connection with the parent and have that connection with the child. So they're both leaving, having confidence, knowing that they're going into a safe place and a fun place. So my suggestion is if you're a leader, we had a running joke because some of our volunteers were sporty. We would call it, we're running zone. So a zone defense in a sport is instead of following a person, you're owning an area. So what we would do is we'd tell our leaders own a zone. And so our sporty leaders would go and hang out where the boys are playing handball, for example. And then some of our more crafty leaders would go and do colorings with those kids. So what we would do is we'd pick a space. So instead of all of us as leaders huddling together and just catching up with each other, do that pre-service. We scatter out, we own an area. So whatever it is that you are good at doing, find something in the room that resonates with who you are, position yourself there and build a micro community. So if you're at handball,
get to know all the boys or the girls, because we've got some of the girls who are epic at handball.
100%.
Know that crew's names, get to know them, find out who they are, what they like to play, be the owner of that space, and get involved if you're able to. Play along. Sometimes you got to throw some games. If you know there's that one kid that has no hand-eye coordination, putting my hand up, that was me as a kid. Looking back, there was a leader who would beat the other kids to get in, then it was my turn, and then would let me win. Now, back then, I didn't know that. Yep. And I was like, I got through another round, because otherwise I'd get one go and I'm out.
Yep.
And so they would help me to be a part and feel included in that space. Now, the other cool thing is own the zone, but eyes on the door. Yeah. So what that means is if you're owning your zone and you're doing crafts and colorings and you look to the door and you see there's a kid that's come in and maybe they look a little disconnected, but you think, you know what, I reckon I can capture that kid in the positive way. I can win their trust. That's your moment to go over, introduce yourself, and then bring them into your micro community. Introduce that kid to the other kids in your area. It's such a simple thing. You don't have to facilitate the entire experience, but just by being present, doing some colorings with kids, building some Lego with some kids, you look up and there's like a new boy's coming in and he looks a little bit uncertain and he's at the door, he's with his mum. You go over, hey, what's your name? Hey, I'm Buckle. Hey, we're building Lego spaceships. Do you want to come and help me? Because I'm not sure what to do next. Yeah, okay. Comes over. And so own your zone, eyes on the door.
Yeah, I love it. And doubling down on that, like we have this rule at our church where it's like we've got like 5 steps for a child to enter the door, because the micro communities that you create, they already have, as going back to a previous episode of our connection statements, they're already connecting with each other. The kids are connecting with each other, which is fantastic. That's what you're wanting, because they get to do life together, even once they've left kids.
Yep.
So you're wanting to really be intentional with that connection. So therefore, when someone has come into the room, that is your opportunity to build that relationship. You be the first person to then allow them to then join in with the kid-to-kid connection and bonding over something that they love doing together. So eyes on the door, I love that, and the importance of that, as well as bringing everyone into the game.
And just on that note as well, which is actually perfect, the entrance at the door is actually another zone. So it's always good as a room leader or as a team to make sure there is someone whose job is they're on the front line. They're the first face that people see when they walk in the door. And we would try and put the most known leader at the door purely because they would be like, hey, Dave, hey, Johnny, hey, Chrissy, hey, Samantha, know all their names. So when a new kid comes in, instantly that leader knows, oh, this is a newer kid. Plus, they know when something's a little out of whack with a kid that maybe comes regularly, and they will be able to know how to hand off a kid from welcome zone into a different zone. And so this is that idea of working together as a team. If I'm on welcome and I got a kid that comes in and I like, oh, what do you do? Welcome to kids for the first time. What things do you like to do? Oh, I play soccer. What? You're sporty. Okay, I need to introduce you to Noah. Noah's running a handball tournament at the moment. Hey, Noah, this is, and all of a sudden we're able to help a kid transition between zones.
Yep. I've got one last thing.
One
last thing on this area, which is just if you're watching this and you're like, but Buckle, I only have 2 leaders. Like we're going to one at the door and then one in another area and one in another area because we're out of leaders. So what do we do? Well, I think having someone at the door to be able to officiate with people, okay, hey, I know you. I don't know you. Obviously, you're not saying that, but you're saying building relationship, and someone you don't know, you find about them, and then you can get them to go to an area. You've probably got regulars, whether they're a grade 5 kid, a grade 6 kid, they could be a grade 2 kid, literally. But just because they are there regularly, they actually already are willing to facilitate, even if it's not in a official capacity.
Correct.
They have people around them because they already have built relationships. So you can hone in on your kids that are the regulars, the PKs, the kids that will be there every week because they know the space, they're comfortable in the space, and they probably are wanting people to get around them anyway. I was a PK and that was me. I was like,
same.
Everything should operate around me. So it's fine.
I felt so special when I got to own a zone as a grade 5 kid.
Yep.
You know, that's a great way. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, look at the kids who own a space and are the charismatic kids. But hey, I need you to own handball today. Can you make it happen and make it, run it, make sure the ball doesn't get lost, make sure everyone's included. And that kid feels so special.
Absolutely.
And then, because for me, the door is a non-negotiable zone. So if you are short on team, the door, both from a welcoming, but also from a safety standpoint, because that's your moment where your door isn't shut, it's open. Kids can also potentially escape the easiest. It's your high risk moment. So welcome is a non-negotiable.
Yep.
Love it. All right. So that's our welcome moment.
Yep.
Let's now talk about, because we're transitioning.
Yep.
So I want to talk about transitions in general, but now we're transitioning from welcome potentially into either an upfront game or praise and worship.
Love it.
So let's talk a little bit about what we should be doing during transitions in all regards, because I think it's the same thing. And Noah will be able to speak into this heaps more because you're on the front line right now. But the pre-work for this as a leader, know where are we going from and where are we going to? In other words, what's the end goal? So if this transition is we're doing worship, well, then I know I need the kids who are fringe kids at the back, the ones who are wandering. We need everybody in the masking tape area in front of our stage. Buckle, we're a small church. We don't have a stage. You do. It's called masking tape. Masking tape, a stage on the carpet. We should get sponsored by masking tape.
I couldn't agree more.
Or we should get like a Link Crew masking tape.
I think that's even cooler.
Yeah, I want to do that. But by knowing where they're meant to be, you now can have eyes for the kid that isn't where they're meant to be.
Yep.
So masking tape out of stage, masking tape out of zone where praise and worship is, and all the kids need to be in that. If you're doing a game, we would actually use multiple zones. So we would even overlapping zones. We'd say, all right, you need to be in this area for praise and worship, but now we'd have 2 separate boxes for boys and girls for a game, or primary kids and older kids. Create zones and know where kids are meant to be. And as a part of transitioning, the person on stage, even if there's masking tape on the ground, we don't want them having to behavior management. They need to be doing the positive. Hey, everyone, come on into this space. We're about to do something amazing. Positive, positive, positive. And then we at the back are doing the, hey, Noah, I know you want to have a drink. You've had 18 drinks in the last 3 minutes.
Yep.
I need you in the space.
Yep.
Don't make the person on stage be the bad guy.
Yep. No, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I think transitioning as well, we're not just working out what we're going to, but a simple thing that you can do practically is for us, we go from one room to another room. They're right beside each other. They're 2 classrooms, but we just count the kids, like, please count the kids, count the kids. It's a nice little check for me. A little like, okay, we left with the same amount of kids. We arrived with the same amount of kids. And you could have 10 kids, but just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're on. That's fantastic. Another thing for transitions that I find practically helps us going from A to B is articulating clearly where kids are going to, not what kids are not what we're not wanting them to do. So as you said, going to the masking tape space, and you're going to be standing. I've now given them a clear instruction from when they're going to go to our masking space area, which they already know, and they will be standing. When they go there, I also sometimes give them a challenge so they have a goal on the journey.
Who can fill up the space first? Boys on this side, girls first. Who's going to be quickest? Go, 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 go.
Absolutely. Or even doubling down because we're going outside of a room, so there's a little bit more nervousness. So I don't want them to run out for us. But for us, it's like, hey, who is going to do a hopping, everyone, we're going to hop
we're gonna
to
hop
the space,
to the rooms.
right?
Yeah,
or
make it
we're going to do
game.
a jumping space, or we're going to do something where it's nice and simple and everyone stays in their single file line going from room A to room B, but it means that they are proactively doing something, which means they're less likely to do something that they shouldn't be doing. And then by the time they get to the room, they're like in the room, in the square, standing up. So for us, it's giving them an objective when they get there, but also giving them an objective in the transition.
Not where we're going, but how we're getting there.
Correct.
Perfect. Now, last thing on this real quick in transitions is also remove distractions. So if you know you want kids to go into praise and worship and the Nintendo Switch is at the back playing the Mario Kart, whatever the Mario Kart theme is, turn off consoles. If you've got, one of the good things about bump in, bump out locations is usually you've got a box that the toys live in, put the toys back in the box. If there's no distraction, if there's nothing that a kid would rather go and do because that isn't there anymore, it's more likely they're going to stay where you want them to stay. So even if you are a permanent location, which we had, we still would have boxes for toys.
Yeah,
and as all my leaders, they all knew they would remove distractions. Colorings and papers go in a box, put the lid on, put it under the table because we had tablecloth, so you couldn't even see the box. It was hidden under a tablecloth. So by removing distraction, it makes kids' brains easier. Like I know when I've got distractions going on, it's hard to focus on the thing I'm meant to be focusing on. But when I remove the distractions, I'm able to focus. And so as a leader, remove distractions.
Yeah, love it. I think doubling down on that, when we transition from our worship space then back into our hang time sort of play space, we do small groups in there.
Yep.
So by removing the distractions, it means we're going into a room that I'm not stressed about that, the kids are going to go straight to a game.
Correct.
Because everything's already packed away. So I'm going, all right, the boys on this table, you're going to be here with this leader. I'm going to be on this table. We're going to be over here with these group of boys. And over here, we got the girls over on this table here. And it's a clean table, which therefore we can already we're already on the front foot.
Correct.
Because everything is away, out of place, not distracting
You set yourself
kids.
up for a win.
Exactly right.
Perfect. Now, I just realized how long we're taking with these topics. We might need to break this up over 2 weeks, I think. But okay, so let's keep going. We'll see how much we can smash in this episode. Next, let's talk about praise and worship. Because the majority of our leaders, you're not going to be on stage, or potentially you're at a campus where you don't have as many leaders, and so you can't lock a leader to be on stage. And so you might have junior leaders like grade 5, 6 kids up there leading worship.
Or just a video.
Or a video, which is also awesome. Use videos. We even did it at like services with like 200, 300 kids. We still just use videos because it was awesome, especially when there's actions. But what are we doing as leaders during worship? So You may not be the worship leader on stage, but you are the worship leader of your zone. Once again, we're playing zones.
Yes, we are.
And so for me, it's not about being the hype guy, because not everybody is a hype guy. But what it is about as Christian leaders, it's just normalizing worship.
Yeah.
It's normalizing praise. It's normalizing engaging with Jesus, both verbally, but also physically.
Yep.
Because if I'm standing there, it's the old saying of, are you happy? Yes. Have you told your face? Because my face isn't telling the story.
Yeah.
So during worship, if it's a great song that I'm totally into, I'll have my hands raised. I'll be singing the song, but eyes open. I won't be doing these ones because if there's a punch up happening and I can't see it. So what I'm doing is I'm worshiping, I'm jumping in the fast songs, I'm getting involved in worship, I'm doing it with my eyes open. I'm still periscoping, I'm still looking around and making sure everything is okay. You can do both.
Yeah. I think it's important that we're just leading from the floor. And it's not something that we're completely revolutionizing. It's not like, oh, we're asking you to, have a microphone on the floor or whatever. It's literally just like how you would usually worship an adult service. Like,
exactly.
For me, like in the jumpy songs at my church, I jump around a bit. I have some
fun. You do
fun.
anyway. It's not like you're faking it.
Exactly right.
That's who you are.
So then I find the kids that like jumping around and I jump around with them. And then in the worship time, I find my own space because I do that in adult service as well. Find my own space, find my little area, which is usually planted in the middle so I can show the kids that are trying to be at the back. I'm close enough to touch them and be like, hey, let's focus up. And then I'll just hands up, have a nice worship moment, as well as making sure that everyone's doing all right. It's good. Sweet. We're all good.
Yep. And so during praise and worship, and that also sort of includes anything that's being said from stage, this is where, yes, there's a program happening. We talked about this last week where we're not watching the program, we're watching the room, but we're listening to the program. So for example, worship leaders on stage, let's say you do have a worship leader or you got a kid that's leading worship and they say, hey, why don't we all lift up our hands and praise? As leaders, it's good to then example the fellowship of leadership. And so if someone's like, hey, why don't you pray for a friend as a leader? Instantly, if I'm a guy, I'm going to a guy and I'm praying for a guy. If you're a female leader, you're going to pray for a female kid. Anything that's said from stage, we're exampling, but we're not watching the program, we're watching the room.
Yep.
And so worship, praise and worship, I hate the terms because we know it's so much more than that. But in this moment, I'm going to scrap that because I was terrible. And so in this moment where we're worshiping God, just lead the way. If you're in church and you're worshiping God, do the same for the kids. Show them that this is normal. This isn't weird. This isn't strange. Worshiping God is what we were made to do. And even if you can't sing, like you don't like your voice, just mouth it.
I love it.
The old watermelon. You're saying watermelon over if you don't know the lyrics because, you come from church with all the awesome songs and coming to kids and the songs are better, in my opinion.
I love them. So catchy.
You won't know the words yet. That's fine. Just do that, but just be engaged, right?
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good with worship.
Yep.
You know what? We're going to see if we can't fit as many of these in as we can. This is going to be a longer video, but I don't mind. We're smashing through it. Okay, MC spot, same thing. If we've got someone on stage, what we would call MC spot, that's just sort of the hosted part, right? So after worship, we've got a leader get up there. They're celebrating the kids. We're having a conversation. We're talking about what's happening today. Same thing. We're spread out with the kids. We're engaged with the program, but we're watching the room.
Yep.
This is where, as a leader, what I would be doing is I'm looking for potential problem spots. MC spot for the kids is building connection and relationship with whoever's on stage. MC spot for as a leader, my leadership team, I'm looking for potential problem zones before we get to the preach.
Yep.
Because I know if I wait till the preach and then I try and address a problem, it's probably too far gone.
Yep.
But now that kids have sat down, this is where you'll spot, okay, this group of kids are hungry, they're a bit rowdy, those kids aren't paying attention. This is my preempting the preach.
Yep.
And you would see this on a Sunday.
Definitely.
What does that look like for you guys?
I think literally, as you say it, like we in our MC spot have one person on stage. And as you say, we always want to encourage from stage and therefore do the behavior management, more stuff inside the crowd. So therefore it's on you as the leader that's in the room to be, hey, I recognize that. And maybe for you, because you're new, it's first time, you're not sure what that looks like. And that is completely okay. Totally. You'll pick it up as you go. But it's general basic rule of thumb of, hey, if a group is focusing on themselves rather than the person on stage, if you plant yourself smack in the middle of that group,
be there.
Like then they'll be like, oh, there's a leader here. Okay, I can't quite talk as much. I know the amount of times where I genuinely, the chattiest group that I find, I just sit in the middle of them. Oh, sorry, I actually really wanted to sit here. I saved my spot. Yep, sweet, plonk. Yep. And then I'm within arm's distance to be able to quickly go, hey, let's focus up. And I sit there all the way through the preach because then they know this is the expectation. Because if I sit there and then, preach is now up, I'm going to go somewhere else, then they're like, oh, sweet, Noah's gone. I can do whatever. It's like, no, this is my new home for the next 15 minutes.
You're owning that zone.
That's
Unless you need to go somewhere for whatever safety reason. If you can stay, own that zone.
Yep.
And you're actually going to build rapport anyway. Like if
Definitely.
something funny happens on stage during a preach moment, laugh, get engaged. We're watching the room, but we're still engaged with the program.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
Yep.
Okay, now we're gone from that. We jump into preach.
For preach, it's very similar to the MC spot, but I want to highlight something as a new person in the room or a room leader in the room that's like on the ground. Please, 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 please do not be listening to the preach for the first time. Like have read the lesson plan in advance. If you have done that, it means you can actually focus on hanging out with the kids. Because then when you're in your small group, it's not, oh my goodness, I need to listen to the preach because I need to work out what I'm talking to the kids about.
Yeah.
It just sets you up for a win. And I'm not saying that because I'm like wanting you to be the absolute best kids leader ever, which I am. So I'm just going to make that very clear that I would love you to read it in advance because of that. But it's also because then you can, again, focus more on the kids that are in front of you rather than the program that's actually happening if you already know the content.
Yes. And that's actually a really good point. And maybe we need to do a whole other episode around what we do outside of a Sunday as a ministry team as well. But just that idea of I may not be on stage, but I'm still helping the preacher. I need to know what's being talked about so I can focus on my kids. I love that point. That's such a good idea. So yeah, and if you don't get a copy of it, ask your key leader, hey, could I get a copy of the notes, whatever's being preached about, so that I can be prepared to do my small group whenever we get to the stage of you doing small groups. For new leaders, usually we wouldn't dump you with a new group if that's possible. I know some smaller churches, we get short on leaders and you do get thrown in the deep end. So we are going to do an entire series just on running a small group, an entire video for that. We'll leave that for a future week. But it helps you, like you say, know how to effectively be effective in the small group if I already know what's being preached about. Because then you can also look out for the nuances. Just because a lesson plan says something, the preacher might tell a funny story that you didn't know because it wasn't in the notes, but now you're able to pick that up because you already know the topic. Yeah. So now we can sit in a small group and I can be like, oh, Noah, do you remember when Buckle told that funny story about the time he crashed his bike? Have you ever crashed a bike before? And now I'm using that as an opportunity to build another connection point.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else on preach?
No.
Sweet. Love it. Move on. Transition again. Make sure you know where we're going from, where you're going to. Remove distractions. We've done that. Small group time. All I'll say for now, especially for our newer leaders potentially, but for everybody, the idea of the small group, ultimately, that's our 3 connections. If you haven't watched our earlier series around 5 foundations, jump back, watch it all if you can, but at least watch episode 3, Make It Personal. Connect group time is to help kids connect with other kids. Yep. Because now we're in a Christian group moment, right? So we can go a little deeper in relationship, connect kids with you as their leader, look for opportunities to find common ground because now there are no distractions. And thirdly, the goal is to get kids connected with Jesus. I think that kids connect more in those 3 in the small group time than they do in the preach.
I agree.
And so we'll talk about how to do that in a different episode. But all I'll say is when you're in your small group, just look for opportunities to do those 3 things. Like even we used to have some Sundays where we had like printed worksheets. Yep. I'm not a massive fan of worksheets. That's just a personal preference because I prefer trying to build that rapport. But for some new leaders, a worksheet is actually really handy to get you going, right? As a resource to get you started. But what I'm always looking to do is, this kid is usually in a different friend group. I wonder if I can help these kids all connect with each other. So maybe I'll ask a random icebreaker question, which we have in our question guide. Hey, Buckle told a story about crashing a bike. Have you ever crashed a bike or done something that you've hurt yourself doing it? It's like, I crashed my bike. I fell out of a tree. Do this. We're building connections with each other. Then me as a leader, I'll try and tell something about me as well. Yep. So now they connect with me. And then, but do you remember, does anyone remember, before we get to the discussion questions, why did Buckle crash his bike? Does anyone remember? It's because his wheel was out of alignment. Yeah, that's right. What was that about the preach? Because we're meant to align our lives with God's plan so that we can face challenges. That's awesome. You guys are paying attention. I love that. Hey, let's look at the questions now. The questions are there as a secondary. Yeah. Ultimately, small group is for connecting kids with you, and kids with Jesus.
On top of that, I got one extra thing that I want to highlight is that when we are asking our questions that aren't necessarily the questions on the sheet, but questions in general, I would love to encourage you to say, hey, think about this question with the person beside you. Yeah. Sometimes as a leader, and I made this mistake for years, so this is why I'm prefacing it to you, hopefully that you can not make it, is sometimes we go, we're doing connecting kids with kids, and I'm asking a question and they're all answering back to me, but they're sort of connecting. Like, yes, they are, because they might go, oh yeah, like I do the same thing, or oh yeah, I do the same thing. But if you genuinely go, I've got a question. Hey, have you ever crashed a bike? Hey, turn to your friend and tell you the situation where you may have fallen over on your bike. Then they get 30 seconds to chat with each other. They build a relationship with their partner. They can get to 3s. It just allows it to be connection with kids. And then it also builds confidence to be like, oh, my story is valid because someone else has validated it, and then feel more confident to share with the group. So I just want a little tip.
That's a great idea. I've never even thought of that. But now that you've said that, we used to do like a Bible quiz in our small group. In hindsight, I wish I would have said, oh, you're working in pairs. You're doing the answers in pairs. You can have 10 seconds to discuss it in your pairs and then answer as a group. That's a great idea. So this is why doing collaborative working together allows us to come up with whatever. And this is why I love having conversations, because we learn from each other. I mean, I feel like I've just learned something there as well. That's awesome.
Glad, Buckle.
All right. So we're done small groups now, and we'll do a whole episode on small groups to really empower you. Let's now look at the sign out moment. So this is the end of a service. What are we doing at the end of a day? What do you guys do at the end of a service?
Most important thing, we are checking stickers.
Checking stickers.
Your stickers
Someone's owning the sign out zone.
Important. And therefore, as you said, the high risk zone is when the doors are open. This is another high risk zone. So we have one leader that is on the door that is sticker from a parent, sticker from a child. Yes. Do they match? Yes, they do. Happy days. They can therefore leave. Like, it is so important, that step, that we are ensuring that the safety of our parents' children is highlighted in that moment. It's funny how we always talk about in kids ministry, like, we ran a great ministry, everything was great, but because sign out is like, all right, guys, we're going to play a game while kids are being picked up, the parents come and they're like, why is it so rowdy? What's happening in here? And you're like, it's okay, because the most important thing is that door is safe. And if the kids are having fun and getting a little bit loud, that's okay, because when they get home, maybe they can talk to their parents about what they learned that day. But own the door, one leader on that door, let the other leader deal with all the other kids, because that door is numero uno importance.
And if you are owning a zone watching the door from a sign in, same rule applies. Let's say you're owning the zone watching the door, a parent has lost their sticker and the person on the door has got a backlog. We don't want them to feel the pressure of just letting a kid go. Because they've got to deal with this backlog. If you're watching the door as well, they can be like, hey, Noah, can you come and give me a hand? You can now take over doing sign out while I follow the official sign out process for a lost sticker. So same thing, own your zone. We're still connecting with kids where we can, but this is our moment to make sure every kid goes home with the right person safely.
And I don't think any parent, if you go through these following steps, is ever going to complain for you being overprotective with their child.
We actually had a campus pastor, and we had a line of, I reckon it was sign out, was our big service. We had it would have been 20 parents getting ready to sign out, and our campus pastor had lost their sticker and was at the front of the line. And literally I was like, I just need to do the official check. And he literally turned around to all of the parents and was like, I hope you guys know how safe your kids are, because they all knew who he was. And he's like, I have to go through the official lost sticker process. I can't just take my kids, and they know me. And all the parents like, oh yeah, wow. Like, our campus pastor supported the safe sign out process.
That's awesome.
So I'm pretty stoked by that.
Yeah.
But then the follow on for that, once the safety part's done, your sign out is now your opportunity to reinforce whatever connections have happened in the day back to the parent. Now, some rooms, some kids programs, they don't even let the parents in the room. They have to wait at the door and you call them in. In that instance, if a kid in your group has done something awesome and you hear Noah and Noah's going sign out, if I can, I'll go with you to sign out to celebrate to the parent something you've done.
Great.
If it is a program where the parents come in to get their kids, depending on what that is, same thing. I'll look for opportunities to celebrate the kid to the parent. Because for me, church is family, and the family unit is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to add on sign out?
That's it. That's perfect.
So it's a little longer episode. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We really wanted to value your time, but we felt like this was really important just to help you know, what do I do in the room? And there is more, obviously, we can unpack, and we're going to unpack other things around what to do in the room over the following weeks. We'll dig deeper as we go. But next week, we're starting a brand new series. I'm not going to be doing anywhere near as much talking, because what are we starting next week?
We're starting our behavior management series. I am so keen.
Well, I was that kid, so I'm pumped that
I was that kid as well. So I'm like, it's past experience, it's work experience, it's church experience, it's everything combining together into a 4-part beautiful series that I think is going to help equip you and empower you to make the correct decisions in how to help behavior manage your kids ministry.
And Noah has qualifications to back up that we're talking about that topic, but we'll let you know about that week. So the best way, obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode, because we love you being a part of the community. But most importantly, everything we do is crowdfunded. We can offer what we do to churches for free. Resources like this, the app that we're developing for kids to have a safe place to watch content. It all happens because of people like you. And so we would love you to consider becoming a monthly supporter. Head over to lmnetwork.com.au/podcast. Hit the donate button button in the top right-hand corner. And then on the giving section, please hit monthly if you're able to. $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever is in the wheelhouse of what you can do. Or if you're a business and you can do more, that'd be amazing. Other ways you can help us are subscribing to this channel. Help us get the algorithm so that YouTube sees, oh, people like this content. Smash the like button, all those sorts of things. But my name is Buckle.
I'm Noah.
And next week, we're looking at behavior management. It's going to be fun. We'll see you then. Peace.